Let's give it up one time for Token Bound. Big shout out to Benny for having me out here today. I just want to say everyone that's presenting is doing some really cool stuff. Today I'm going to be talking about on-chain albums. Shout out to the Token Bound team. Coop Records Music is an on-chain record label. So basically what we've been doing out here is we've been helping artists distribute their music to platforms like Sound, Audius, and Showtime. You can see here we have a little profile. We got some songs that are on-chain. Basically what we've been doing is helping artists manage their wallets and build custom sites. But one thing that we've noticed is that it's really hard for artists to learn how to use on-chain music today. We take a 10% curation fee and we put 70 songs on-chain in the last 3 months. Today I'm going to tell you guys about how we're doing a new take at putting albums on-chain. But before we do that, what is on-chain music? I think a lot of you guys have probably heard me talk about music NFTs on Twitter. NFTs are dead. You heard it last time, you heard it here now. It's all about on-chain music. Basically what we're doing is we're creating a new monetization layer for music. We're building markets around different songs, collectors, and artists, and we're creating a social graph around it. So, going into the meat and bones here. Who is Daniel Allen? You might have seen this guy on Twitter. You might have seen him around town on Spotify, maybe on TikTok. This guy's in my backyard making 10 TikToks a week now, so chances are you've probably seen him there before on-chain, but he's a leading on-chain artist. He's the first artist to host an artist seed round, the largest collection on Sound XYZ to date. And he was the first to use the ERC 6551 standard in on-chain music through the duality pass, which is what we're going to be talking about today. So, on-chain albums before. I mentioned that Daniel has the largest collection on Sound XYZ. There's a project called Criteria that had 8 songs on it, but what happened is that we basically released this through one contract address. You can see on the right-hand side here, there's 8 songs on this project, and these all lived under the same contract address. So what happened is you bought a Criteria NFT, that revealed into one of the 8 songs. You didn't know what you got until the time that you bought it, and it all lived under the same collection. So a little bit difficult to handle on the split side. You basically put all of the artists on it, all of the collaborators, the visual artists, the managers, everyone on one split. You had to index these as one collection, which means that it was a little bit difficult for different platforms to be able to support it, but we got the job done. But when it came to Daniel's next project, we thought, how can we do things a little bit differently? Hence the duality pass, and this is the reason that we're here talking about it today. With duality, we have one contract address per song. Each song has its own individual contract address that lives on Sound XYZ, but you have a token bound account, which is able to own all of those different songs through what we call the duality pass here. So basically, you now have the benefit of having individual song markets. You can have a market for song 1 or song 2, but you now also have a market for the whole album as a whole. And so this is basically what we've been doing to market this project. You go and you buy a duality pass, and inside of that, you get different editions from the songs, you get bonus drops, and you get collectibles. So what does this look like in practice? Basically, we're going to visit danielallen.xyz/duality, and you're going to buy a duality pass. Now, what happens when you buy that pass? Instead of being able to go to Sound and collect all those songs on the day of the drop, as a collector, you can buy the duality pass and have all those songs airdropped to you directly on release day. And for a reminder here, this is an 8-song project, 1 song coming out every 2 weeks. So you could either go to Sound every Friday, every 2 weeks, or you could buy the duality pass. And when you buy the duality pass, that edition lives directly in your wallet, and you're able to interact with those songs through token bound. So now you have a collection that owns all of the songs inside of it with one transaction without you having to go anywhere else. So the question now is, how is this going? Well, I'll tell you what. It's a little bit hard for people to wrap their head around what's going on, but that's why we have demos like this today. We've got about 115 editions sold out of 200, but the funny part is, the songs slot on Sound the first day every time. And so people don't even know that you can come and buy the album pass, but they go and they buy the singles anyway. But there's 4 songs released here, 4 of 8 songs that have been released. And basically our goal now is to figure out how do we get people to understand that they can collect an album without having to buy all the songs individually. And what that means is that you get a limited edition song for everyone and you get a bonus VIP song in it. What this looks like when you actually buy the duality pass is that you go into the site, you see that you have all these songs in your wallet, and you don't have to do anything else. And the way that we got involved as Coop Records is we deployed the first 6551 contract on Optimism. We launched this using Sound Protocol, and we built a site out using Bonfire. So you visit the artist's website, you collect the duality pass, and then inside of that, you get all the different songs. We're really excited to bring this to Optimism because for those who don't know, on-chain music is pretty much living exclusively on Layer 2 right now. Most of these songs are all living for $10, $5 a pop, and with the duality pass, you could basically buy all of those in one transaction on a Layer 2. As I said before, it's been very nice because we're able to airdrop these songs directly into the pass itself. And even though the songs have not all come out yet, you can launch the pass ahead of time, creating a market for the album before the songs come out, and then put the songs into them after the fact. And so basically what you're looking at here is you buy the Duality Pass in advance, song comes out, song goes into the Duality Pass every time that it gets released. What I'm really excited about with this is that pass owners can interact with their own individual songs. So let's say you like song 1, 2, or 3. Let's say that song 3 is more popular than song 5. You can go and sell that because you have it in the Duality Pass. You don't need to worry about picking and choosing one song. You don't need to worry about, I only got song 1, but I want song 8. You have them all available, and in the chance that one of them goes viral, you can do what you want with that one individual song. So what are some of the benefits of this? As I said before, you can collect the entire project in one transaction. Instead of having to go into sound once every 2 weeks, you basically now have the freedom to say, hey, I'm just gonna buy a pass in advance and know that I'm gonna get this entire project over the course of the next 3 months without ever having to go back to sound in the first place. Saves you time and energy, and it gives you a discount relative to all the individual songs. Right now, when you buy the song on Sound XYZ, it's 0.01 ETH. If you collect all 8 songs in the album, you spend 0.05 ETH. So you get a discount on the songs, and you get them all in advance. This also creates a market for the full project. So if I want to collect the Duality project as a whole and buy the entire album, I no longer have to go and buy each individual song. I can do this all in one transaction. The last piece that I'm excited about is it allows you to collect the songs the same day it comes out on Spotify. With the collection called Criteria that I mentioned, we released that on Sound in December. That project didn't come out on Spotify until May. But now with this format, you can actually put the songs on chain the same day that they come out on Spotify, but still allow collectors to buy the full album in advance. And so this was all the great things that come with ERC 651, but it wasn't without fault. Excuse me. There's some challenges around the learning curve for token bound accounts today. Right now, a lot of collectors don't understand that if I buy a token bound account and I buy one of these passes, that I have all of the songs inside of it. We've commonly seen collectors saying, where do my songs go? What happens when I own them? And so a big challenge for us is explaining to people, if you have this Duality Pass, you own the songs even though the NFT owns the songs and not your main address. It's something we've been doing a lot of education around, and it's something that's been a little bit of a challenge with the artists too. The artists themselves needs to go into Etherscan to actually airdrop these songs to the pass every time that they come out. It's not something that's impossible, but it's definitely not something that's very user-friendly right now. Going into the actual Etherscan link and saying, here's a text blob of 200 addresses, paste this in here, press confirm, and pray to God that your 200 limited edition songs go to the right place is not necessarily an easy sell. Thankfully, we have a very close relationship with the artist, so it hasn't been a problem, but it's something that we're looking to make easier in the future. Interacting with individual songs is a bit of a challenge. Let's say that you buy a Duality Pass and you know that you have song number 3 and you want to sell that. Going into your token bound account, deploying the contract, and learning how to withdraw that is a behavior that most collectors are not used to. So you may have the benefit of just getting the full project. Let's say you want to interact with song 3. There's a lot that you have to do with that to be able to actually take it out of the pass and create that secondary market for it. And then last but not least here, splits are complicated. Just because we end up making an album contract doesn't mean that all of the splits with music get any easier. This means that on the actual album pass itself, we have collaborators, we have managers, we have visual artists, we have many different collaborators that want to be able to take a piece of this album split, and they might not know exactly what's going on. So saying to them, hey, you're getting allocated 2% of this wider project on top of your split for your song, it's a very complicated process. It's something that we've been very fortunate to work with a lot of on-chain artists who understand this world, but for the most part, there is a very big trust factor with it. All that being said, though, it's something that I am very excited about. I think it sets a really strong precedent for the future, and it's something that me and my team have been stoked to build. And so here you can see the Coop Records team. I want to give a quick shout out to my CTO, Rami, who was the one who deployed the contract on Optimism. Absolute all-star, and along the way, it's been a learning process. What I would say is that there is not a great way to collect music on chain today. There's a lot of different formats at play, and there's a lot of open questions, and we're just very thankful to be able to put these into the world. Outside of the Duality Pass, we're going to run this back. It's not a one-off process. What we've got here is our next on-chain album for an artist that we're developing named Bloody. This just went on sale today, so if you go to bloody.zip, you're able to pick up an on-chain album, and with that comes 6 songs that are all going to be released over the course of the next few months. So without further ado, I want to say thank you very much to the Token Bound team for having us. And if you're looking to get in touch, the best place is either on Twitter, @KoopaTrupa, email right there, or on Telegram. So thank you guys very much for having me, and shout out to 6551.